Hey everybody, Zach the Welder here, coming at you for another weekly video. And this week I wanted to talk about making the jump from being a rig welder to having your own welding shop. Kind of talk about the good and some of the bad. And I don't really think a lot of people talk about that much of the bad and the difficult. So I kind of want to go through some of that stuff here. So some of the good things here, it is really nice to have your own place like this. Mine is at my house, so I can just walk right out of the house, walk out at the shop and get to work. The downside of that is I can just walk from the house to the shop and work. So there's not really any downtime. Anytime I have a free minute, it's like, oh, I need to come out here and get this done. So you really have to make time to have a life outside of your shop. That's, something I really struggle with, and something definitely to be aware of, where, if you're out welding for somebody else doing it all T&M, you're in your truck, you just go out there, you work however long you got to work, and you come home, or you go back to the hotel, and you just, you have a more set schedule when you have to be there. Scheduling, that's another thing. So it's really easy to just, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. So if you are not a self-motivated person, it would be difficult, I would think, to work on your own like this. Now maybe it would be different if you have employees where, you can kind of bounce things back and forth. But if you work alone like I do, it could be difficult if you are not, a self-motivated, self-starter kind of person. You got to set deadlines and really get to, get stuff going there. And also, if you are like me and work alone like this, if you are prone to, depression or any other kind of mental illness, like, it's not really good for you to be in a windowless building like this for, all the time there. So like, I really have to get out of the shop and interact with people at least a couple days a week, or like it does not do good things for me. I can be out here, and it's nice when you have friends that'll call and you talk to during the day, but I tell you what, like, I really notice if I've been out here for a week just slamming projects out. I mean, it is nice to get work done and get invoices going, but if you're out here from, usually I'll do paperwork. Usually I do paperwork first thing in the morning, so like I'll start work at 6 or 6:30. I'm out here by like 8, and then it's usually, unless my kids have something in the evening, I'm out here until 9 o'clock, something like that. So it really does take a toll. Like, you gotta really make a concerted effort to get out of the shop, whereas like, yeah, it sucks, pooping in a porta potty if you're a rig welder, but it is nice having that interaction with other people, and just variety versus just coming out here and doing the same things. Some other things that, a lot of people I don't think really think about is, one nice thing, I guess we'll say, one nice thing here, I don't have any overhead as far as the building goes other than my electricity. It's on my farm, it's paid for. But if you're leasing a space or renting a building like that, I mean, you're looking at a couple $1,000s a month that you have to make every month, which, depending on the amount of workload you got, that's a lot. Plus, if things ever shut down here and I close the doors, all this machinery in here can just stay here rent-free because I own the building, versus if you are renting or leasing a space, this stuff, you got to move it out of there by, whenever your lease is up. And then, you've got, okay, that weighs a couple £1,000, that weighs a couple £1,000. The welding table that my camera is sitting on here weighs a couple £1,000. I mean, to move everything out of here, I mean, you're talking several days to a week worth of work, a forklift on both ends. I mean, you're talking a lot of bigger expense, rather than, say, if you've just got a dually with a welder in the back and a welding bed, okay, that you can, it's a lot easier to deal with. There's a lot less going on there. And quite honestly, like, after going from that to this, your profit margins on just running out and welding out of the back of a truck are a lot better than the shop. Now, I mean, you look at it, okay, yes, there's stuff that I'm building equity in here, like all the machinery and stuff I own. if I want to close the business down, I can sell it and get a good chunk of my money back out of it. But at the same time, like it's overhead. It's stuff you had to pay for, and it's things that, or it's money that could be tied up elsewhere. You know, you could have that in a money market account earning, you know, right now it's like the market's earning like 10%. So like this welding table I got in front of me here, this fireball table, you know, you're looking at $15,000, $20,000 between the table and fixtures. So it's like, okay, you could be earning 10% per year on that money, or you could have it sitting in the shop here. So you kind of have to be more careful about shop purchases than if you're just a rig welder and say, you know, hey, I got a, you know, SA200, or I bought a, you know, Pipe Pro or something like that. Well, you know, buying a Pipe Pro is expensive, but when you compare it to the things you need to really be a profitable shop, that's nothing. I mean, like, I am very low end here, and I have a ton of money tied up out here that, again, you could have in the market making, you know, 10% a year. So that's really something to think about. Like, the time involved in getting to where, you know, the time involved it takes to get to the point of having your shop with enough equipment and enough capacity to be able to make a decent amount of money. It takes a long time. Like, I have not, everything in here has been paid for cash. There's no financing. The only thing I've ever financed in the history of my business has been my truck, and that was because the financing rate was 0.8%, so it did not make any sense to just plunk down the cash for the truck. So that has some good and some bad. So it really makes it difficult to grow, but when times are tough, it's nice not having payments on anything. So like, I would really like to have a big plasma burn table in here. I'd really like to get rid of that big SCMI panel saw and that jointer back there and put a burn table in here. And then pick up, actually I just bought a finger brake, but I'd like to put in a nice AccuPress, like 100-ton press brake. But I mean, you're looking at $100,000 between the two of those. And if you're not financing that, that makes it difficult to cash flow stuff like that, or, you know, like put enough money aside for stuff like that. Plus, I mean, you still have to have, that's something I didn't even talk about. So going from rig welding, where again, yeah, you have some expenses. I'm not trying to downplay any of that, but, you know, welding rods, gas, fuel, maintenance, that's about it. Here, like, I supply a lot of materials. So, I mean, there's, just in stainless last week, I bought like $10,000 worth of stainless for a job. I got to wait 30 days to get paid on that. I mean, I've had other jobs where, you know, I've had $40,000, $50,000 worth of materials that I got to wait 30 days, 60 days to get paid on. I mean, you have to have a big cushion of cash that if you're a rig welder, you just don't have to have that much cash laying around, or that much liquidity where, you know, you can plunk down a ton of money, and you have to work that in with your purchases too. So like, I just bought a classic 300 off Ritchie Brothers auction. So, you know, you have to think like, okay, that was like $6,000 or $6,700 with the fees, which Ritchie Brothers, they take out $750 for the fee. So keep that in mind. But, you know, okay, so I bought that, and then I bought a finger brake within the same month. So it's like, okay, so I have to make sure I have enough money laying around to pay off all the other various suppliers, plus live on, plus, you know, anything else that comes up along the way. Versus, you know, again, I'm not trying to downplay, you know, the expenses there as a rig welder, but, you know, I just hit a big chuck hole on one of our highways here. So new tires, 2 new tie rod ends, and a drag link. I'm into the truck, $2,000 there. Versus, I mean, here, it just never ends. I mean, hell, behind the camera over there, there's just bolt cabinets. There's probably like $3,000 worth of bolt cabinets. I mean, there's so many things along the way there that you really need, and really need to be profitable and be efficient, that you just don't think about. And it really adds up, and adds up very quickly. And it is, I guess it's something I did not think about when going into this, is just how much cash that like setting up this kind of business eats up, versus, you know, you got a truck, you got a welder, and you know, some grinders, and, you know, that's nothing compared to, and I'm a small operation here. I mean, big places with a water jet. I mean, a big water jet, a good one, you're looking at a couple $100,000. Then you got the maintenance on it. Then you got the power bill for something like that. I have a buddy who has a big machine shop, and his monthly electric bill is like $12,000 or $13,000. That's just the electric bill. So I mean, your numbers get bigger the larger you get. But honestly, I don't think the amount of money for the headache that you make really get bigger. And also the freedom, if you are, say, a rig welder like that, you can, if you don't like one part of the country, or you decide you want to move, you just hop in the truck and go. And as long as you got a decent contact list where you're going there, you can find work. Versus this, I mean, I'm talking multiple semis to move my shop somewhere, and then I have to have a forklift on this end to load it, a forklift on that end to unload it, and then just, I mean, a lot to set everything back up and get it back to where you're working. So it's just things that I did not think about when setting this up, and if anybody else is in that same position, I think that would be good for you to think about too. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope this helps somebody out there. I will probably do some more of these, just kind of when I have a thought there I'd like to talk about. Thank you all for watching. Please have a good week.